The tragic truth behind Beyonce's family health crisis. Beyonce has been a constant presence in the public eye ever since she signed her first record deal in 1997, and her family has established themselves as an entertainment dynasty. In a manner analogous to that of the Jacksons, the Knowles family has attained superstardom while also maintaining a high level of discretion regarding their personal life. While it's possible that we don't know everything there is to know about Bey and her family, we do know a few essential points about the major actors involved. Before she became a household name, matriarch Tina Knowles Lawson managed a hair salon and finally created the gorgeous costumes for her oldest daughter's girl group. Meanwhile, Matthew Knowles was the mastermind and manager of his daughter's careers. Tina Knowles Lawson was the designer of the spectacular clothing for her eldest daughter's girl group. Beyonce and Solange have each achieved their own level of success in the music industry, garnering praise from music critics while simultaneously preserving their impeccable reputations. Even though the Knowles family has had a great lot of fame, fortune, and success throughout the years, this does not mean that life has been simple for them at any point in time. Here is some heartbreaking information about the Knowles family that you may have missed if you hadn't been following their story closely. LaToya Luckett and Latavia Robertson were kicked out of Destiny's Child in the year 2000, barely 3 years after the group inked a recording contract with Columbia Records. According to Robertson's comments to People, the departure was almost like a bad divorce. Both ladies claimed in court that they were fired from the band when they asked to break ways with Matthew Knowles as their manager, and they brought the case before a judge as a result. Fans of Beyoncé were in for a special surprise in 2013 when the singer revealed a documentary that would be named Life is But a Dream and promised an up-close and personal peek at her life. The heartbreaking news that she had a miscarriage 2 years before the birth of her daughter Blue Ivy Carter in 2013 was one of the shocking revelations that she shared with her admirers. She and her husband Jay-Z were getting set to start a family when a terrible accident occurred. I made a selection of names, according to US Weekly, she elaborated. I envisioned what the face of my child would look like. I was feeling very maternal. I had flown back to New York for my appointment, but the doctor said there was no heartbeat. In 2017, Jay-Z released 444, a profoundly personal album that delves into the highs and lows of his personal life, including the challenges that have had an effect on his marriage to Beyoncé. Specifically, the album discusses the ups and downs of his personal life. The song's title track is an impassioned apology to his wife, in which he refers to several pregnancy difficulties that she faced. He says things like, I apologize for all the stillborns because I wasn't present. Your body wouldn't accept it. Elle magazine published an interview with her in 2019 in which she acknowledged her miscarriages and explained that the experience altered her concept of success. She remarked, I discovered that every suffering and loss is in point of fact a gift. Having miscarriages taught me that I had to mother myself first before I could be a mother to someone else. Tina Knowles Lawson, in addition to being a loving and involved parent to her 2 girls, offers her name and support to a number of worthwhile organizations. One issue in particular that is very important to her is raising awareness about HIV. During an interview in the year 2020 with the Black AIDS Institute, she candidly discussed her experience of having a loved one pass away due to HIV/AIDS. Knowles Lawson mentioned her nephew Johnny in an interview. Johnny was not only a close relative to her, but he was also someone she thought of as a close friend. During the early days of Destiny's Child, he was employed by the Knowles family as a nanny and was also responsible for designing the girls' wardrobes. She spoke on how difficult it was to bear witness to the rapid fall in her husband's health following the diagnosis of AIDS. There were a lot of myths and misconceptions about it and fear, and it was a really, really tough time, she said. People were afraid, and it was a really, really tough time. I often think about him, and I think that if only he could have gotten it later, there would have been more treatment for it. He wouldn't have been ostracized as much as he could have gotten it earlier, she said. She went on to relate how, after his diagnosis, she visited him in a hospice and saw other young kids his age who were alone because their parents had deserted them. According to People magazine, in 2019, at the age of 67, Matthew Knowles was given a diagnosis of stage 1A breast cancer. After seeing blood stains on his shirt and bed sheets, he went to get medical attention as he revealed the following year in an interview with People. In the end, he decided to have a double mastectomy to remove his right breast. At the same time, he found out that he had the BRCA2 gene mutation, which raises his risk of developing pancreatic melanoma and prostate cancers. According to People, Knowles has an extensive family history of the disease, and he did not spare any time in persuading both of his daughters to obtain the BRCA gene test. Knowles was diagnosed with breast cancer in 2012. In addition to this, he has made use of his platform to educate people about male breast cancer, as well as the significance of genetic testing. In an article that he penned for US Today, he emphasized how vital it is for men to take their health seriously and get screenings on a regular basis. As I look back, I'm not afraid to admit I would have made significantly different choices about my health if I knew then what I know now about how we, and especially Black men, approach our health, he said. He is currently employed by Invitae, a firm that does genetic testing, where he promotes the testing of other families. According to what Knowles said in an interview with People, "I want to save lives, especially in the Black community." A tragedy befell the Knowles family in 2021 when Martel DeRuin, 34 years old at the time, was gunned down and killed in his house in Texas. According to Fox News Antonio, his corpse was allegedly discovered a few days after the incident during a health check conducted by the police. It was established that he was the cousin of both Beyonce Knowles and her sister Solange, and that he was connected to the Knowles women through their grandmother, Agnes DeRuin. Martel was also a rapper, and he performed under the stage name Cardone. He was contracted to a record label that was linked with Sony. According to the Houston Chronicle, the police detained an aspiring rapper named Sasha Scare, and a grand jury eventually indicted her on counts of murder in connection with the death of Martel DeRuin. It is said that the two got to know one another while working on a video together. His wife, Joa DeRuin, said he had a great work ethic, that he never utilized his family ties to further his own career. He never really talked about it, bragged about it, or anything like that, she stated, as reported by Fox News Antonio. She gave the impression that he was the type of person who was intent on proving himself in the music industry by his own efforts. The Knowles family has never made a statement on his slaying in public. When Solange Knowles postponed a concert scheduled for New Year's Eve 2017 in South Africa, it was the first time she mentioned having health problems. She disclosed this information to her followers in a lengthy statement that she posted on Instagram, which was obtained by People. The note said, "For the past 5 months, I've been treating and working through an autonomic disorder. This has been a journey that has not been a simple one for me. There are moments when I feel really cool, and then there are other times when I don't feel cool at all." She then went on to thank other festivals that have been informed of her medical issue in the past, but have respected her privacy by keeping the information secret. During the celebration of the second anniversary of her 2019 album, When I Get Home, in 2021, she made a reference on Instagram to further health problems that she was experiencing. 2-year anniversary of the project that literally changed my life, she stated on her reflections on the occasion. "When I first started creating When I Get Home, I was quite literally fighting for my life. I was going in and out of hospitals, Park Plaza on bends, when deteriorating health and broken spirits." Knowles went on to tell how the process of crafting this record felt to her like it was a sign from God at every turn of the creative process. She did not elaborate on the specific nature of the current health issues, but she did refer to it as a lifelong healing. Beyoncé graced the highly desired September 2018 edition of Vogue, which was published in 2018. She granted an exclusive interview to the publication, in which she discussed a variety of issues ranging from her professional life to the history of her family to the recent birth of her twins, Rumi and Sir Carter Carter. The generally reserved celebrity revealed the traumatic events surrounding her birth and her challenging rehabilitation. "I was in survival mode and did not grasp it all until months later," she admitted later on. The singer said that she had toxemia throughout her pregnancy, which caused her to swell up and require an emergency cesarean surgery. In case that wasn't terrifying enough, her twins also had to spend several weeks in a neonatal intensive care unit. She also discussed her extremely difficult pregnancy, which she described in the Homecoming documentary, as stated by Glamour. "My body went through more than I knew it could," she said at one point in the conversation. Well, Beyoncé is a queen, and she will continue to pull through all the difficulties that might come her way. Stay tuned for more amazing content on True Celebrity Stories.